Welcome to the ATR Powerslam Above the Ring's new YouTube show coming to you this weekend to provide you all wrestling news from the week ending in March 18th, 2023 with a 15-minute time limit. We're your hosts, SLB and Scott, with John, the Statman, on assignment. I'm going to tap it over immediately to Scott so we can talk about what happened on WWE Raw going into WrestleMania in a couple weeks.
It is certainly WrestleMania season. We're on that road, and we have our brand new match that has been given to us. Edge and Finn Balor, Hell in a Cell. Now, this is what it should be. This is how you end a feud. It doesn't have to be a pay-per-view. This is going to be outstanding. Also, Finn hinting at possibly bringing back the Demon. Should be interesting to see. We'll see if Edge counters that with his brood version of himself. We'll see. But Judgment Day attacking Edge after the match was made, causing Johnny Gargano and Dexter Lumis to come out and make the save. We jump into our first match with Judgment Day actually getting the victory, which was a little surprising, but at the same time, not so much. After that, we had Omos, Brock Lesnar face-to-face in the ring. There's a lot of chatter on the internet about this match. Personally, I think it's going to be a fun spectacle to watch, and this could be Omos's, shining match. We'll see. But Omos gets a little bit of the best of Brock, tossing him out of the ring. So Brock actually retreating, which another thing you don't see too often. So we'll see where that goes. Cody Rhodes, LA Knight, having a first time ever match. Cody getting the victory there. Bronson Reed continuing his domination since returning to the WWE, defeating Elias. And the United States champion Austin Theory defeating Angelo Dawkins in a very, very good match. Dawkins continuing to do well as a singles competitor. But I feel like after Mania, if Theory's still champ, Montez Ford might have something to say to him. We have the continuing denial of Rey Mysterio giving Dominic his match at Mania. This happened both tonight, and I'll say it again on SmackDown, the same thing. But eventually, I know it's going to break. More than likely, I would assume at the Hall of Fame induction, which should be interesting. We had Seth frickin' Rollins getting a victory over Baron Corbin, and Bianca Belair defeating Chelsea Green, and Asuka coming out after the match to save Bianca once again after Carmella getting involved. A lot of people are not really happy with this build because they're not fighting one another. There's a lot of mutual respect, and Asuka's kind of in this weird, like, is she her New Japan version? Is she the WWE version? She's doing a lot of mind games, and I appreciate it. A lot of people, though, they're not too keen on it. So we'll see what happens. There's still a couple weeks left. We'll see if they get some physicality in there. If not, who knows? And then our main event of the night was Kevin Owens and Solo Sikoa once again in a street fight. Match ending, of course, with a DQ because Jimmy gets involved, Jay gets involved. It's just ridiculousness. But actually, I take that back. This wasn't actually a DQ. This one actually did finish. Solo was able to get that Samoan spike on Kevin Owens, and Kevin really sold it because he's like, it looked like he had actually vomited after the match, which was ridiculous. But we'll change gears. We'll go over to SmackDown. Not SmackDown, NXT. Whew, I'm jumping right ahead. Gallus defeating Pretty Deadly to retain the NXT Tag Team Championships. Zoe Stark defeating Sol Ruka to qualify for the NXT Women's Championship qualifying ladder match if Roxanne Perez is not able to go after her incident last week where she collapsed after her match. Shawn Michaels had said that with her health unknown at this time, we have to have measures in place just in case. So it looks like we're going to start to have a ladder match to determine possibly the next NXT Women's Champion. After that, we had Alba Fire and Isla Dawn defeating Hayden Carter, Katana Chance, and Ivan Allen, Tatum Paxley to advance to Stand and Deliver to take on the women's tag champions. We also had a split between Ivy and Tatum. It looked like Tatum was actually manipulated into turning on her partner by Isla Dawn. So we'll see what happens. Dabba-Kato putting Apollo Crews in the rearview mirror after getting a big victory over him. Gigi Dolan defeating Kiana James to qualify for the women's ladder match was your main event. So I will then kick it over to Sam so we can cover Dynamite and ROH and Impact.
Hopping over to Dynamite, we opened up the show with MJF's Rebar Mitzvah quality segment where we had Jungle Boy, Darby Allin, and Sammy Guevara come and interrupt, and we are teasing the Four Pillars match, which I have a feeling is going to happen at Double or Nothing. Following that, the opening match, we had the Blackpool Combat Club take on defeat Hangman Page in the Dark Order. Next up, we saw Jade Cargill once again get another victory over Nicole Matthews. I believe this was the top of the hour. Orange Cassidy took on and defeated Jeff Jarrett to retain the newly named AEW International Championship, formerly the All Atlantic Championship. We have another moment with the, I guess we'll call them the Outcasts. Soraya, Tony Storm, and Ruby. Ruby Riot. Ruby Soho. Still don't know what to make of this. This one's it's a weird combination. Yeah, we'll see how this one plays out. We then had the World Trios titles on the line once again. A banger of a match with the House of Black retaining against the Elite and the Jericho Appreciation Society. Hopping over to Ring of Honor right now. We had the opening match was a proving ground match between Claudio Castagnoli and Willie Mack, with Claudio getting the W. Dante Martin got the win over Mike Bennett. Following that, we had Metalik and Blake Christian take on the Trustbusters, Ari Daivari and Slim J. Eddie Kingston took on Jeeves K, I believe of the Trustbusters as well. Following that, we had another proving ground match between Athena and Hyen, with Athena getting the win. Following that, we had the return of the last real man, Elias Young, take on Marcus Cross.
Nice.
The Embassy taking on and defeating Dalton Castle and the boys for the 6-man tag titles. You know, good to see Dalton back, and
yeah,
it's great. Love Dalton. Trisha Dorner took on Madison Rain and got the win there. Matt Sydal and Christopher Daniels coming back as a tag team, taking on defeating the Outrunners, and also getting challenged by Aussie Open.
Ooh,
so
all
we'll
right.
get that coming up. And then we had, am I looking at the right one? I'm reading this March 16th. That is right. Sorry, guys. And then the main event, for some reason, I'm like, I thought this was the second episode. This is the third. Okay. Wheeler Yuta took on, defeated Clark Connors for the Pure Championship. Solid match here, where now Wheeler will not rest until he gets Katsuyori Shibata.
Ooh.
So maybe we'll get that at Supercard of Honor, March 31st. Okay, hopping right over to Access TV, the Impact Zone, Impact Wrestling. We have Champagne Singh take on defeat Ziggy Dice. Mike Bailey and Jonathan Gresham defeated Decay. Steve Macklin defeated Heath. Jay Vidal and Savannah Evans took on. Wait a minute. Jay Vidal defeated Johnny Springer. Okay, no, they both of them, they must have been pretty active, both Swinger and Ziggy Dice. I'm seeing them a lot with these results. Then we had the Coven, Tyler Wilde and Kylan King take on and defeat the Knockouts World Tag Team Champions, the Death Dolls, Taya Valkyrie and Rosemary, become the new Knockouts World Tag Team Champions.
And I believe that was Taya's last match in Impact too.
I believe so as well. And then we had Bullet Club, Kenta and Ace Austin and Chris Bay take on defeat Josh Elgander, Rich Swann, and Frankie Kazarian. I'm going to tag back out to Scott to cover WWE SmackDown.
All right, so SmackDown kicked off with Cody Rhodes calling out both Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens to try to resolve the problems that have been going on, because Sami, ever since attacking Roman back at the Rumble, he's been determined to take out the bloodline, and he's calling on his former best friend to help him out, and it's just not happening. So KO says no, not going to happen, and he ends up leaving the ring. We have a moment out in the parking lot where Sammy tells KO, "Is like, yeah, I know we fought and everything, but we're brothers. This is how this is." KO kind of looks back at him a couple times, and then he gets in his car and he ends up leaving the arena. So sad times moving ahead. We end up having a mixed tag match with Dominic Mysterio and Rhea Ripley taking on and defeating Santos Escobar and Zelina Vega. Nice to see Zelina back in the ring. She had some really good moments in this as well. But I like the fact that she's mixing it up again. And then, of course, this brings us right back to what I talked about during the Raw segment. Dominic out in the ring, calling out his father. Ray coming out, not saying he's not doing anything. I'm not fighting you. It's just the end of the line. It's coming. We just don't know when. This slow build has been slowly building forever, and I'm ready for it to take off. After that, we had Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez defeat Tegan Nox and Emma to qualify for the women's side of the WrestleMania showcase. There is a men's one as well, but those matches haven't been said yet. I'm assuming on Raw next week, we'll probably have our first couple of matches. After that, Charlotte Flair coming out to the ring. Rhea Ripley follows suit. And we have ourselves a nice little brawl because it's WrestleMania season. We got to have a nice brawl before we get to their match. We had Xavier Woods defeating LA Knight clean. And LA Knight's not very happy about this. Has a little segment in the back with Rey Mysterio. And now we have ourselves a match for next week between those two. So we'll see what happens. And then the main event was the main event wrestling match was supposed to be Drew McIntyre and Sheamus. The winner would take on Gunther at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental Championship. But of course, the match ends in a no contest because all of Imperium comes out and attacks both of them. So I'm thinking to myself, well, here comes the triple threat. And the moment that thought left my brain, here comes Adam Pearce on the Titantron and says, oh, this is official. Triple threat match for the IC title at WrestleMania. We don't know which night, but I guarantee that's probably going to steal the show. End of story. And then our main event was pretty much a come to Jesus meeting for Sami Zayn and Jey Uso. They're just going at it like verbally. And then all of a sudden, Jey attacks. Jimmy shows up. And then once we all thought this was going to be the end, Kevin Owens returns to the arena, takes out the Usos, and then we have the hug between Sammy and KO. And I'm getting chills now just talking about it. It was just, yeah, it was something that was needed. This burn was fantastic. And now it's pretty much set for Mania. Usos versus Sammy and KO. It's going to be ridiculous. So one more final tag out to Sam to cover Rampage, and then we'll wrap this baby up.
As we hit the 2-minute warning, AEW Rampage, we opened up with Powerhouse Hobbs taking on and defeating Ray Phoenix for the TNT Championship. Taya Valkyrie made her in-ring debut against Eva Lawless and getting the win. Daddy Magic and Cool Hand Angie took on defeated the Bollywood Boys. Haven't seen them in a while on TV, whether WWE or AEW. And then the main event, Daniel Garcia taking on defeating Brody King. So that has been This Week in Wrestling. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to listen to ATR on all your streaming platforms. Thank you for listening.